This is the Business of Leadership Series Minute with your host, the best-selling author of Don't Buy a Duck and founder of MarketingStrategyHero.com, Derek Champagne.
Whitney Johnson is our guest today. She's an innovation and disruption theorist, keynote speaker, best-selling author, great books. Whitney, there's more, but I want to take time to talk to you today. So welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Derek, for having me.
I sometimes feel like in my own personal experience that the worry about making the jump is actually more stressful than making the jump itself.
One of the hacks that I now use, because people will be like, okay, it's time for me to jump. I'm at the top of my ladder. I'm at the top of my S-curve of learning. And people don't want to jump. And they tend to think, well, if I can think about all the exciting things that will happen for me if I make this jump. But that's hard to visualize in the future what might happen. You know that it might be a good thing to do, but you can't see it. And so what I do is I basically leverage the loss aversion theory from Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. He wrote Thinking Fast and Slow, which basically says we're more motivated by what we lose than by what we gain. Basically 2.2 times. And so when you're trying to decide, should I do something new? Yes, think about what the upside might be of doing something new. But the more important motivator typically is, what bad thing will happen to me if I don't? So if I try to stay here and do exactly what I'm doing, we know from the neuroscience that our brain is bored. And so that plateau that we're on can become a precipice very quickly. We can actually precipitate our own demise. And so that's a really important way when you're on that place where you're like, I know I need to do something new and I'm terrified. Think about what could happen that's good, but also think about the bad things that will happen to you if you don't. And that tends to be a pretty strong motivator.
Talk to us about some principles from your book that are key principles as far as takeaways for managers and executives who want to apply the power of this personal disruption for building a better team.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the big ahas I had, I mentioned, was disruption is not just about products, it's about people. So that was one aha that I had. But the second big aha that I had as we were investing is that this S curve, and you can picture it in your mind, sort of there's this base of the S. It almost is like a roller coaster, like the base of the roller coaster. Then you have that steep part of the roller coaster and the flat top of the roller coaster. And I had this aha as we were using this S curve. It was popularized by E.M. Rogers in 1962. That this S curve could help us understand how people learn and how we grow. We were using it for investing, but for a person, here's what it looks like. Whenever you start a new job, start a new project, you are at the base of that S. And if you think about, a lot of time is passing and it looks like absolutely nothing is happening, like that exponential growth hasn't kicked in. So you start something new, you, the individual, you're overwhelmed. Your boss is looking at you thinking, it seemed like a good hire, but maybe it isn't, because they're not progressing as quickly as I want them to do. So what you as a manager need to do for people at the low end of that S who are feeling overwhelmed is to give them support.
Derek Champagne here. So many exciting things happening in 2019. Join us. Visit DerekChampagne.com.